And welcome back, everyone, to Zanpakuto Creation Series. Normally, I either record this the day prior or in the morning so I can have it out early, but decided to go a little late because my movie isn't until 7 o'clock. So I have a little time to kill. So and I always struggle a little bit with this name, Okaha? The question is, what is the Zanpakuto of Negan from The Walking Dead? And this was one of those rare instances where I could actually apply something from the character and directly make it a Zanpakuto, or at least something that his Zanpakuto does or has a trait of. So his Zanpakuto is mostly a melee type. Its sealed form would be that of a katana. Its release would be swing away. Now, the Shikai's name is Lucille, because that's the name of his bat, which is named after his wife. And he has a very intimate relationship with this bat. Read the comics if you want to know how intimate he is with it. I don't believe the series ever went truly into how intimate it really is. But, and then its Bankai would be Lucille in Heaven, which it can have many different, connotations to it. But it would be Lucille Tengoku-do, or, Tengoku-do. Now, the spirit would take the form of his deceased wife, Lucille. His Shikai would not be a barbed wire covered hammer. And instead be a Kanobo that takes the form. It looks very similar to his standard Lucille, the barbed wire covered baseball bat. Did I say hammer? I meant baseball bat. It's right. It's in the goddamn picture, for God's sake. But essentially, it would be just this spiky club. Now, Kanobo is a war club, more or less. Usually, it's studded, or it's got spikes or whatever on there for added effect, added damage. That's the general gist of what a Kanobo is. This one would look a little bit more. It would be spiked, and the design of the spikes would look similar to the barbed wire. I can also see it being a little thicker than his baseball bat, just for some extra oomph. Now, in Shikai form, it doesn't really have all that of a special ability. It's more just a melee club weapon. But still, Kanobo is not a weak weapon to be thrown around there. It can be both blunt force, depending if it's got sharp protrusions on it. It can be a piercing weapon, as this is. So it's not an inherently neutered weapon, per se, without having anything really special. But the Bankai is where we can get really creative here. See, the Bankai, I had an idea for the Bankai. So this is what I think it's like. He would yell Bankai, hold his bat maybe up or pointing the bat towards his opponent. Like, all right, Bankai. And all of a sudden, what looks like barbed wire suddenly rips itself off of the Kanobo, revealing just a thin bat, a metal bat, mind you. It'd be metal here. And the barbed wire suddenly encroaches into the entire area. It's basically like a barbed wire cage. And you would think, well, okay, what does it do? Well, A, it first off contains the individual. But B, he can kind of swing his bat and the barbed wire can attack. Now, granted, this is like Reishi. It's not just like rusty barbed wire. It's much stronger than standard barbed wire. It's not like, hey, barbed wire, how's that going to really do it? No, it's obviously Reishi enhanced, all that. But the point is that essentially he can bind someone up in the barbed wire and eventually just kind of keep them in place as he just beats the living hell out of them. Now, in terms of a weakness to this Bankai, well, it's very clear. Anyone strong enough to just break the wire is going to be broken out. Also, anything like extreme heat would still probably melt this wire, even with Reiatsu and Reishi enhancing it. Beyond that, it's not, technically speaking, the Bankai itself is still a melee weapon. It's not a long-range weapon per se. And someone fast enough can avoid the wire. So that was one idea. The other idea is a play on that, but we go a slightly different. Instead, he goes Bankai. His bat maybe grows a little bit more, or even shrinks back down to the size of a standard Lucille baseball bat. But the barbed wire-like effect still, let's say, rips itself out of the bat. But now it's not encasing, but hovering around the bat. And so when he swings his bat, he's actually swinging the effect of like grinding barbed wire, which can then splay out, grab someone, do whatever he needs to do. This would be a slightly different Bankai, though, because it doesn't just trap the two individuals in the dome. And he still has it as it makes for a more effective melee weapon because there's more sharp protrusions. If he can spin the wire to create kind of like a grinding effect. And like I said, it can still grapple someone. It would still have most of the weaknesses the other would, except now it doesn't even have these slight ranged attacks that the original Bankai created did, because it no longer has the dome that just fires out barbed wire. Either way, I think Lucille turned into a Zanpakuto of some kind makes a lot of sense for Negan, because that is a very, that his wife was the love of his life. So, and he lost her, so he went dark, and his Zanpakuto, I think, would reflect that. And I think that him having a female Zanpakuto would make some sense, absolutely, because she was the biggest influence on his life at this point when we meet him in the series. Until then, though, that's my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.